Well, hello again. My name's Bridget Morrissey, and next to me is April Brunel. And we're here today to tell you about how to buy a home. The name of our show is Southeastern Connecticut Real Estate Questions and Answers. So today we're going to go through the home buying process, and I think we have a lot of good information today. Last show was on how to sell your home, and if you haven't seen it, you can go to the Southeast Connecticut YouTube page, and it will be there, and you can look at how to sell your home. But today we're talking about buying a home. So let's look. I have a slide that tells the latest statistics in New London County, and I think this tells a big story. So let's look at the single family market update. Now, this shows from February of 24 to in February of 25. It's that 1 month, year to year. So in February of 24, we had 204 new listings on the market, and in this year we had 154, which is really 25% less than last year. So closed sales, though, if you look at this, there were 128 last year in February of 24, but this year there was 137. So we had 7% more closed sales, which I think tells the story that yes, there are plenty of buyers out there. There are many buyers out there ready to buy a new home. So the average sales price in February of 24 was $399,526. And this year in February, the average sales price was $456,711, making it an increase of almost 15%. So the story it tells there is this: if you are in the market or thinking about being in the market to buy, this is a good time, because that increase shows that it's going to continue to increase. And so many people ask me, you think the prices will go down? Well, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. However, I think this statistic right here shows that chances are they're probably not. And obviously houses still appreciate. So I don't think the prices are going to change, go down. I think they're going to continue on an uprise. So here's the one that I find very interesting is the condos. And this is again New London County. So the number of new listings in February of 24, were 31. This year, in February 25, there's 34 new listings. So that was an increase of almost 10%. Now the closed sales in 24 were 24 sales of condos. This year, 32 sales of condos, which is a pretty big increase, again, 33%. So that's a big jump. Now the average sales price, and this is kind of crazy actually, in 24 was $240,835. Now this year, February 25, is $378,763, which is a 57% increase. Now, that doesn't mean that every condo increased 60%. What it means is it could have been that there were some higher priced condos that sold. It's just an average. It's not, it's an average price, but still that number is, almost 60% increase. Wow. Rental market, however, the number of active rentals in 24 was 341, and this year is 319, down 7% almost. And the number of properties leased last year was 24. I think that's because all the people are buying the condos.
I think so too.
I think that's what it is.
They'd rather buy than rent.
That's right, exactly, because look at the average monthly leasing price is $1,808.
Yeah.
Now, you could get a mortgage for $1,808, maybe, I don't know, it all depends on several factors. But, but the average rental price did go down 4.1% from last February. So I think that this is all very, very interesting, tells a big story. So if you're in the market or if you're thinking about purchasing a home, now is the time, I think, to really get out there and start looking. So with that being said, we're going to continue to show you how to go about buying a house. Now, one other thing I want to share with you is I saw this article today or yesterday that baby boomers are, the amount of baby boomers looking to buy is now exceeding millennials, which I find very interesting, but not really, because think about it, baby boomers, we're all looking to downsize. And millennials are just coming into the market. So I think it makes a lot of sense that, the baby boomers are, they're out there looking for sure. So now we're gonna start a video that we have and tell you a little bit more about how to go about buying a property.
So in this video, we're going to talk about all the different steps that goes into buying a home. Buying a home is one of the most significant financial and emotional investments you'll make in your lifetime. It involves many steps and a lot of planning, professional guidance, and you have to make a lot of decisions. Today's show, myself and Bridget are going to go through the entire home buying journey, from securing financing to getting the keys to your new home. You want to arrange financings and get mortgage pre-approval first before you start looking for properties. It's essential. You want to get that step first out of the way so that you're ready to hit the ground running. A pre-approval letter will get you a long way into the process and strengthens your position as a serious buyer and gives you a clear budget for your home search, which is also very crucial. You want to choose the right realtor, and that's can be more of a personal opinion. Who do you get along with and who would you like to work with? You want to make sure you look for an agent who has extensive knowledge of your desired neighborhoods, strong negotiation skills, and a communication style that matches your preferences. Be sure to choose a realtor who is deeply familiar with Southeastern Connecticut and Southern Rhode Island, providing you with invaluable local insight. You want to make sure that you get along, that they are responsive to your questions and helpful. Also, today you have many different outlets to look for a certain agent. Of course, you can use different platforms such as Google, Zillow, Yelp, Realtor.com, and YouTube. Today, as a home buyer, you have access to many of those platforms, and it can take time to read reviews, watch videos, and explore listings on sites like all of the mentioned before: Google, Zillow, Yelp, Realtor, YouTube. And that's really good.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about negotiating and signing a buyer's agreement with a realtor.
I think I spoke a little too long. But yeah, you want to definitely look for the right realtor. And you want to look for, also talk to family members, see who they've used, see who's a local expert, see who's has a good track record. So you want to do a lot of that. There's many different brokers, there's many different agents, there's many different companies, and they're not all the same. They don't all do the same thing, so you want to make sure you pick the right one. You want to create your must-have, nice-to-do list and bonus list. Before viewing properties, take time to create a detailed list about what you must have, nice-to-haves, bonuses. Crucial exercise helps clarify.
So then the next step is, with the criteria that you've established from this list of must-haves, nice-to-haves, and bonus, you want to start your search. Put that criteria into your search. And you can search many different places. You can use different agents' websites. You can use different company websites. You could use Realtor.com. That's a good one. And so then you, or your agent can set up some customized services based on your preferences and budget, and send you listings that match your criteria. So the digital exploration helps narrow down options before investing time in physical viewings.
You want to attend open houses and look at the properties. Visiting properties in person is exciting and allows you the experience to feel a potential home and neighborhood firsthand. Nothing beats that, seeing it in person with your own eyes. Bring your family along. Bring your significant other along, because everybody's opinions are going to be different and their experiences are going to be different. Before closing, you'll review the final purchase contract with your agent and all that stuff, but the walkthrough is important.
So once you found the right home, so now you want to sit down with your agent and you want to write a competitive offer based on comparable sales, market conditions, and the property's condition. So the formal written offer includes the purchase price, any contingencies, proposed closing date, and other terms that protect your interest. Your agent's negotiation skills become invaluable at this stage, so they work to secure your best possible terms.
You want to hire a house inspector, one that is certified and professional and will go in and identify any structural, mechanical, or safety issues with the property. The inspector will examine the roof, foundation, electrical systems, plumbing, and many other critical components.
Septic tank inspector.
You want to hire a septic tank inspector as well. For properties with septic tanks, of course, a specialized inspection is necessary to ensure the system is functioning properly and meets local regulations and isn't out of date. The septic inspector will check the tank, distribution box, and leach field for signs of failure or needed maintenance. The specialized inspection can prevent costly surprises after purchase, especially in many Southeastern Connecticut homes where septic systems are common. There will also likely be an appraiser for the mortgage company. Your mortgage lender will require a professional appraisal to verify the property's value. It supports the loan amount that you're requesting. The appraisers evaluate the home's condition, size, features, and compares it to a similar recently sold properties in the area. If the appraisal comes in lower than your offer price, you may need to renegotiate or adjust your financial strategy.
So then you look over the final contract before closing, you review it, and ensure that all the terms, contingencies, and agreements are accurately represented. This comprehensive document outlines all aspects of the transaction, including the final price, included fixtures, repair agreements, and closing date. And careful review prevents any misunderstandings and ensures your interests are protected. Then you have the walkthrough final inspection with your realtor, and that typically occurs anywhere between an hour before the closing or 24 hours before the closing. And it just allows you to check out the property, make sure nothing's changed since that initial offer, and make sure that everything agreed upon repairs have been completed, including appliances and fixtures remain in place, and that the property is in the same condition as when you first saw it. And then here we are, sign your documents with your attorney. At the closing, you'll sign numerous legal documents, which transfers the ownership of the property and finalizes your mortgage. So in Connecticut, an attorney is necessary to oversee the process, explaining each document before you sign. And then you'll provide that certified check for your down payment and closing costs, and the seller will hand over, well, it won't be the seller, it will be the attorney, will hand over the keys to your new home.
And then congrats, you now have your new home. The moment you've been working toward has arrived, you now homeowners. This emotional and great milestone represents a successful culmination of the entire home buying process.
Yay! The house is now yours.
So, it is exciting.
It is exciting. I love it when you're at a closing, which we don't really attend many closings any longer. Since COVID, things have changed quite a bit. So if you have one of the baby boomers and maybe have purchased 2, 3, 4, 5 homes in your lifetime, I just want to make you aware that things have changed quite a bit since probably the last time you purchased a home. We've had many changes in the real estate business, and it's important you work with your agent and find out what it is that you need to do now that's different when you purchased maybe your last home. So, and if you're paying cash, which many people are today, you really need to be ready, have your proof of funds letter from the bank with you when you go to look at a home, just in case you want to put that offer in today, because in today's market it's very competitive and there are multiple offers on many houses. So you really need to compete. And so have everything ready to go. And
The more you have prepared, the easier it'll be to put that bid in.
that's right. That's exactly right. So we have another video that is about some of the common mistakes that buyers can avoid. So we want to play that one now. Common mistakes by home buyers. Oh, not getting pre-approved before house buying. Now again, house hunting. So skipping that mortgage pre-approval is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Now you can go to open houses, but if you like that house, you better have that pre-approval in hand, because without it, you won't know how much you can afford, which could lead to you going looking at houses that are above your budget, and then guess what? Then you're going to be disappointed when you find out you can't afford this particular home. So, and it also shows that you're a serious buyer. So it gives you that edge in the competitive market. So, and many buyers focus solely on the down payment and forget about the additional costs that we have when you purchase a home. So you have your mortgage, you have your insurance, you have the taxes, which all goes into your payment, and then there's also some other expenses as well, and we can talk about those at the end of this video. And also, here's the thing, failing to shop around for mortgage rates can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of the loan. So different lenders offer varying interest rates, terms, and fees, so it's essential to compare multiple options. Now, be careful with that, because if you have your credit pulled, then you don't want to have it pulled too many times. But if I'm understanding this correctly, you have it pulled once, and then within 14 days, you can go and get other quotes, and it won't affect your credit.
Another mistake they make is focusing only on aesthetics. It's easy to get distracted by beautiful finishes or trendy decor when touring homes, but buyers often overlook critical factors like the location, the commute times, which is very important, and school districts. A home appearance can be changed with time and money, but its location is fixed. It can't be changed. Always consider practical aspects that will affect your daily life and long-term satisfaction. You don't want to skip or underestimate the importance of a home inspection. I know it might seem like it'll save you some money, but in the long run, you don't want to be surprised by costly fixes or things that need to be done. You definitely don't want that. Home inspector identifies potential issues like structural problems, outdated systems, or hidden damage that you may not see. It's better to spend a few $100s up front than face the unexpected repairs after moving in. Another mistake is miscalculating repair and renovation costs. Hardly ever will you find a perfect home that needs nothing being fixed. Buyers often underestimate how much it will cost to fix or upgrade a home after they purchase it. Even small projects like painting or replacing flooring can add up quickly. Before making an offer on a fixer-upper, get quotes and make sure you understand. There's also decision-making mistakes such as emotional decisions. You get so emotionally tied to a home that you don't want to let it go. It happens a lot, but you always have to try and take a step back and look at your finances and see if this really is going to fit in and be strategic and help you with your long-term goals. You don't want to rush into home buying process, even though you might feel pressured to do so. You want to take your time to make sure you're not skipping steps, missing things, or making a poor decision. Take time to research neighborhoods, compare properties, and evaluate all aspects of the purchase carefully. That's where an agent can come in to help you do that as well. On the same side, you don't want to wait too long for the perfect home to come along. On the flip side, it's hard to find a perfect home that checks every single box on your wish list. This mindset can cause you to miss out on great opportunities that meet most of your needs within your budget. Be flexible and prioritize what really matters, because not every home is 100%.
So there's a lot of different programs out there, and so you really need to research before you really start your home buying search. Research the different first-time home buyer programs. There's government programs. There's all kinds of programs out there that will help you. They're designed to make it more accessible. But often they go unused or people aren't aware. And also, check your credit report. You want to make sure there's no errors on your credit report before you apply for a mortgage. So check your credit early in the process and dispute any inaccuracies before applying for the financing, because that could hold up financing for you. So by understanding these common pitfalls and taking proactive steps to avoid them, you can navigate the home buying process more smoothly and confidently, achieve the goal of home ownership. So we hope that this helps you, and good luck with your house hunting.
Yeah, for sure. But also don't forget, when you're looking for lending options, if you're going to buy a manufactured home, you have to look for special lenders for that, because not every lender will do a manufactured home.
That's correct, April. Yeah. So again, there's lots of different programs, but the other thing I didn't get into enough of was the cost of home ownership and the cost of buying. So yes, you have your down payment, and that there's many different ways you can do the down payment. You don't need 20% in a lot of programs. You just don't need 20. And everybody thinks you need 20%. Well, 20% is nice, and then it makes your payment a little bit lower, but you don't necessarily need to wait until you have 20%. So you can go with 3%, 5%, 10%, whatever you feel comfortable with. And again, research those programs, because I'm not a mortgage lender. I don't know all the programs out there.
There are a lot of good mortgage lenders out there that help a lot of people.
Yes, and we're going to have one on the show pretty soon, one of our shows. And the other thing is you have your property tax closing costs. Closing costs will include the attorney fees, any fees to the lender, your first 6 months or whatever the lender requires for insurance and taxes, and I believe you need to pay a year's homeowner's insurance up front. And also there's something new this year, and that is the commission for buyer agents. So I'm going to let April explain that.
Yeah. In the past, it was usually that the sellers would cover, almost always, the buyer agent's professional fee, or you can say compensation. But since I believe it was last August, there was a big lawsuit that's changed the way things sort of happen in real estate. Whereas sometimes the sellers will still cover the buyer agent's fees, sometimes they won't. And therefore, the buyers have to cover that fee. They could either choose to cover it themselves, or a lot of them are choosing to put it in with their offer to finance it to help with their bills.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep, there's different ways. And again, that all goes back to your lender and also your attorney. They'll figure that all out for you. So, well, what do you think, April? We provided a lot of information, don't you think?
There is a lot of information. There's always new questions that pop up, and there's many different aspects to purchasing a home.
Yeah, it's not an easy process. It's very stressful.
Yes, and if you're buying a condo or buying a mobile home, you might have HOA fees, which we didn't touch on.
Oh, right.
That is another fee you might have to consider. But sometimes it's worth it. You don't want to take care of your lawn. You want to have amenities included. You want to have a nice environment, close-knit community. So that's pros and cons.
Well, you know what, April? We're near the end of our show today. Boy, that went by fast,
It went
didn't
so
it?
fast.
I'm telling you, that was great. So we hope that you were able to get a lot of good information today. And our whole purpose in doing the show is information. So we thank you, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Yes, thank you so much.